projects again. So the most important thing, property management students should know about the management of the projects. Now, since the pandemic and post-pandemic as well, we have seen a major shift into the societal change. The society is being changing. Our lifestyle, our style of working is changing. Now we are looking into the new trend, the contemporary trends, how we work and how our workplace should be. So earlier we used to have two different style of working. One is the centralized and one is decentralized. So in centralized one, for example, the face-to-face lectures we were having, we all were going to the university and having the face-to-face lecture. The decentralized one, where people are sitting in their own homes and we were doing lectures online. But now the new style emerged, which is the hybrid working style. And that is changing the way we think about the property management and the way we think about the corporates or office space or other things which we require for working. So the hybrid working style, where some of the people are working from home, but some of the people are working from offices. Now, in this style of working, we need less space, and that is what the industry is moving towards. The offices, the office space is in less demand now. So the hybrid style of working is emerging now. But at the same time, what pandemic has given us, that we have to think about continuously improving the skills of our workforce, so they can work on online and offline as well, and they can communicate with each other and looking at the different type of skills as well, working with the software and working with the artificial intelligence and working with the other different type of technologies as well. But what was happening earlier, we was focusing on the skills, for example, the competencies from the professional bodies. So we were focusing on those skills, and those are kind of traditional way of working. If we just focus on the skills, which is based on the humans, which is interpersonal skills, for example, communication between two human beings, for example, communication between the tenant and the landlord. So that is what we were focusing on. That was the traditional way of working. Now, since the technology is opening doors for the opportunity to work more efficiently and do more with the less resources, we are moving into a new era. And that is what the property management student should understand what we are doing. So during the pandemic, or after the pandemic, the focus to the employee health and well-being is being is being emerged, that people are, or the organizations are focusing on the employees' health and well-being. Now, since the technology is evolving and the revolutionary technology is coming, then we are looking into the robots and automated tasks as well, where we can use the robots, we can use the machines in the adverse conditions. And that is what you might have seen in the news today and in last couple of days, since we got the weather disruption and in Scotland and other areas. So how can we use robots in those kind of conditions, or how can we use robots in complex projects? So that is what is happening. And you might have seen some different type of technologies in property management domain as well, where we are talking about 360-degree videos, and people are viewing properties online and they are not going to the properties physically, so they can view the property from anywhere in the world. So these are the new or the contemporary trends which we are looking into now. But the question is, are we still doing it right? Are we doing what is supposed to be done, or are we moving towards the future? Are we thinking about the future seriously? So that is the main question. And answer to the question is Industry 4. What Industry 4 is, that this is called the fourth industrial revolution, which brings the seamless connection between the digital and the real world. So the digital world, where we are talking about the VR, where we're talking about artificial intelligence, where we are talking about robots and cobots, where we are talking about big data, where we are talking about digital twins. So all these technologies are emerging and available now, and these type of technologies can be used in property management domain, not just in the property management but in other manufacturing and the construction, aerospace industry, or any other industry as well. So let's have a look at what type of technologies we are talking about, and how can we use those technology in property management domain. So robots and cobots. So robots was the traditional robots, which was used to work within a factory setup. For example, the car manufacturing, you might have seen the robots are working, the big arms are holding some parts and they are fixing it to the car. Now, we are moving towards, since we have the artificial intelligence, since we have big data and other type of technology, we are not now moving towards the cobots, which is the collaborative robot. They work together with the human being. For example, we ask Alexa, what is the time? And Alexa tells us the time. We ask, there could be time where when the Alexa is connected with our coffee machine and we say, Alexa, can I have a cappuccino? And you get cappuccino without even touching the coffee machine. So that is possible, and that is being happening. This type of technology, the cobots, can be used for property viewing. Cobots can be used for putting up the camera in the properties, putting up the sensors in the property, and looking at the ways how people are behaving and how people are working, especially in the commercial properties, how the flow of people is, how the flow of machinery is, and how people are reacting, and how can we improve their health and well-being. So you might have seen videos of Amazon warehouses, where we're talking about logistics here, and that is one of the question in the assignment. So we are talking about the Amazon warehouses, where they are using a lot of robots to lift the boxes and the pallets. Now, what if those robots interact with the human being at the same time? They should be able to talk, and that is what is happening, and that is where the industry trend is going, moving forward. So thinking in that way, that the traditional robots will be redundant and we will be using cobots, which has more interaction, much better communication with the human beings. So this is one of the trend we are looking for. Now, artificial intelligence, that having cobots is not possible without the artificial intelligence. And in theory, it is a development of computer system that can perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. So gathering the data, gathering a lot of data and bringing down to a artificial intelligence or a cobot, and that cobot can act or react as human intelligence whenever it's needed. So what we are trying to do here, passing our work. For example, if somebody is working in adverse condition, let's say somebody is a crane driver, or somebody is using some heavy machinery for demolition or any other thing, where there are too much risk of the human life, we can use those cobots to perform those activities. Lifting heavy boxes in a warehouse, we can use cobots for that as well. So the focus is the human being only focus, which those cobots cannot do. So what is happening over here is we are trying to pass our workload to those cobots, not the robots, but to the cobots. And at the same time, those cobots send us the information and communicate with us in real time. And also try to come up with the new ways of working or new ideas as well, because those will be the machines who are working on that task. Now that can be used in property management domain. How that can be? There are several possibilities. Again, as I said, cobots can be used for property viewing. Cobots can be used to work at the reception, or that can be used to lift the goods or the heavy items. If we are talking about the logistics, if we are talking about the office settings, so it can be used in several different ways, and that is what the industry and the people are looking into. Now, another thing is Internet of Things. Now, Internet of Things is simply combining several smart objects or smart appliances together, or smart cobots together, so they can interact with each other. Like the example I just given you, we ask Alexa, can I have a cappuccino? And Alexa communicate with the coffee machine and does it. And you might have seen several things. For example, Apple Watch communicate with iPhone. iPhone communicate with your MacBook, and it communicate with your iPad as well. So all the Apple products are communicating with each other. At the same time, we can connect those devices with the other devices as well. For example, your heating system. As soon as you reach your home, your heating system turns on, because it sends a signal to your heating sensors that you are coming back home and you are just a few minutes away. Lights can turn on. You can use the lights. You can use Alexa, or you can use any other any other devices to turn on the lights as well. That is all about being more efficient in terms of working. You can set the alarms. You can activate or deactivate alarm on a set time. You can activate or deactivate light system, and you can change the ambience as well. So it's all about Internet of Things. You can start doing your dishes, or you can switch on your washing machine while you are away from home. So there are a lot of things you can do, and Internet of Things can be used when you in the property management as well, because we are looking for the smart houses. We are looking for the people are looking for the smart houses which has all the Wi-Fi connectivity. All the switches are Wi-Fi connected, so if they are away, they can turn anything on and off as well, and that saves a lot of energy, and that could be environmental friendly as well. So Internet of Things, bringing those things together that communicate with each other. They maybe it's connected with the Bluetooth, or it's connected with the Wi-Fi, or since we have 5G connection, it opens up the opportunity to connect those physical objects much properly. So people are looking for these type of, or the industry is looking for these type of connectivity within the homes and within the offices as well. Now, you might have seen even the university printing system, the follow you printing. You can print it from anywhere. You can print it from your home and go and scan your card, and then print it from your any printer in the university. So that is again another example, but that is kind of outdated now. It's not the real time. You still have to go, or it is real time actually, but you still have to go physically and do the things for you, and scan the card and print it for yourself. So that is sometime is because of we need to protect the data. You don't want that you print something and somebody else get it before you reach to the printer. Now, since we talk about the data, big data. So big data, whatever we're doing on our mobile phones, we're browsing any social media. For example, Facebook collecting data about each and every person who ever registered on the Facebook in the real time. And we are talking about uh, terabytes of data every second. So they collecting too much data. Now, what they do with that data, they analyze that data, and same thing can be done in property management domain. So let's say we talk about the logistic again. You are managing Amazon warehouse, so you collecting the data through the sensor, you're collecting the data through the robots and the cobots, you're collecting the data from each and every machine, and see how you can improve the process in it. So this is the trend. The warehouses, if you are building warehouses or you are into the commercial market, office blocks or anything, data gives you much better opportunity to understand your client, to understand the market, to understand the demand of the market as well. So we are looking for the big data. So big data means we are talking about terabytes and terabytes, hundreds of thousands of terabytes of the data every day. So that kind of data, the big companies like Amazon and the big companies like DPD and all the big companies like Tesco's and Astas and all these companies are collecting that kind of data. How do they collect? The Tesco's and Asdas and Sainsbury collect data through Nectar card. Tesco collect data through their club card, and there are other ways to collect the data as well. They got cameras, they got the sensors, and they are collecting data. What is the flow of the people, on which shelf most people are stopping, which is the so where can they put the item which they need to sell fast. So this type of data can be, that is again, that is a property management, and that is coming up with a brilliant layout of your shop design or your store design. And that is what the property manager's job or the property analyst job is, how to analyze that big data and coming up with the new layout of the shop. And you might have seen they already are doing really, really well in terms of keeping the stuff where it should be. For example, you don't find milk and bread as soon as you enter the shop. It is always somewhere in the back of the shelf, or maybe after two or three shelves. So because they want you to go inside and roam around so you can pick a couple of more things. And when you go for the milk shelf, the bread shelf is far away, so you can move a bit forward. And when you're going for the bread or any bakery item, you can browse through other shelves as well, and you can pick. So it's about selling more, and that is what their idea is. Now they also look at the supply chain, how the things are being supplied. For example, you might have seen when you buy a clothing, you see a tag on the clothing, and that tag can track that clothing anywhere. So from the factory to the shop, and if somebody takes out that tag from the store as well, it can be tracked. So these are the RFID tags, and these tags can, with the help of these tags, they can see the real-time data where the item is right now. Same thing, the location tracking on your mobile phone. We can track anyone with the location tracking, even though you are not using the location tracking, but still Google is tracking your location. So when you go out somewhere and when you start your car, it automatically tells you 15 minutes to home if you take this way or this particular route. So that is all about the data. They're collecting the data from us and they're suggesting what can we do. The same thing can be done in the property market, in the property management, when we are managing the offices, when we are managing the commercial space, or when we're managing the stores, or any retail stores, or any warehouse like Amazon. So these things can be applied into those type of properties. Now, we also talk about the intelligent space. The intelligent space, again, there are the rooms or that are equipped with the sensors. So we got sensor all around the room, which can track the people, the behavior, how they are behaving. If the heating is not appropriate, or it is a bit cold, how people are behaving. If the heating is high, how people are behaving. So those sensors can not just this, but they can track a lot of things as well. For example, infrared red sensor, they can sense the heat of the body of the people. They can also sense the behavior of the people. They can also sense how people are reacting, what is their flow. Even on BBC News right now, today's news, they are talking about China, and the way they are collecting data from all around the China and from outside as well through the cameras and other things. They can pinpoint who is doing any any suspicious activity. They can recognize the faces of the people because that everything is in their databases. So same thing, like you might have heard the police cars coming behind you, they can read your number plate and they can find out, are you insured, or do you have MOT, is your vehicle taxed. So all this information, so that is all about data because we have the database. So those sensors in intelligent spaces is being demanded by the companies like Amazon or the companies like Tesco's and Asda, because they want to understand more about the market. They want to know more about their customer, and that is what is happening. Also, why we try to use this type of intelligent spaces, because we want to create a much better environment for the people and the workers working in the building. So before we make a better environment for them, which enhance their well-being and health and well-being, we need to understand why or what is the issues, how can we improve it, or what issues they are facing at this point. So all that the intelligent spaces, the sensor collect the data, that becomes the big data, and that big data give us the analysis, and we can use several different techniques to use that data as well. For example, digital twins, and having looking at the augmented reality, VR and AR, so immersive learning technologies. So we can have the immersive learning technology, for example, AR and VR and mixed reality, to identify how can we interact with each other, how can we interact with the machines, and in the real world scenario, how can we improve our environment while using the devices like phone, tablets, handsets. So we are looking for the extended reality. It's all about evolving the human being, at the same time the technology is evolving as well. So this is what we are looking into the future. Now remember, as we have already talked about, if we don't innovate, we die. And I know that is a big problem with the SMEs. The large companies like Amazon, they can invest a lot of money on this type of technologies, but MSCs, SMEs doesn't have that kind of money to invest in this type of technology. But now there are a lot of applications, there are a lot of softwares available through the computers which can automate your system. And I believe if you have worked within an organization, then you might have seen they have automated system which can process or make the process easier for you. And similar type of system we are having now in our university. So we can do attendance digitally, and if the students are absent, not coming for 3 weeks continuously, the system automatically send an email, and it send an email to the course leader and send an email to the module leader as well. So those type of systems, so we can go and talk to the student or try to find out what is happening, is something wrong, how can we support you. So all these things is all about automating the work, and this thing is required. Until unless we have, being a property manager, until unless we have good connectivity, for example 5G or Wi-Fi connectivity in the building, these all the things will not be possible. So these are the basic things now companies are demanding, that at least we need these things. For example, Wi-Fi, and we need some type of sensors. And you might have seen there are sensors everywhere. We have sensors in the toilet since a long time. We have sensors wherever we go in any of the building. If it all talk about the Springfield building, we have sensors everywhere. When we swipe our card on a door to enter the room, the system knows that Mandeep has swiped the card on this time and what time he might have gone out when we turn off the system or when we turn off the switches. So it's all about how long the room is being used. So we can use or utilize that room for other activities. If the lecture is 4 hours and we are only using the room for 3 hours, then we still got 1 hour window which can be utilized for something else or some other activity. So we can that is only possible when we have the data available and when we analyze the data. So now, that data, when we collect all the data, we can use that into converting a simulation and using the digital twins. So, digital twins is something like we are looking at a visual representation of an object or a system, and looking at the entire lifestyle or life cycle of it. So, for example, we have all the data available about our Springfield building. When we try to put it in a simulation application and we simulate that the students are coming in at 8:30, they're starting from 8:30, coming in by 9 or 9:30, and the flow of the students, what is the flow of the other the staff of the universities, and what is the flow of everything what is happening within the university. So we can optimize through the simulation. We can look at the whole day. So we can analyze and understand the entire life cycle of the building for 1 year or 1 month or 2 year time. So we don't have to wait and watch over there, but with the simulation we can watch the whole thing within maybe 5 minutes time. So within 5 minutes we can allocate 1 minute equal to 1 year. So we can look at the 5 year time in just 5 minutes. So this is what the simulation and digital twins can help. So we are learning from the machines through the simulation and we can make our decisions there what we need. Now let's say all the flow of people is going towards one door. So one sliding door, which is the main door, opening and closing. 1,000 people coming in every day, so it will open and close, and 1,000 people going out, the same 1,000 people. So it might open and close at least 2,000 times a day. So we can understand after how many years or how many months we might need to change the mechanism of the door. We might need to repair the mechanism of the door. So this type of data can open up the opportunities for us to understand our buildings, understand our working space in much better way. And that is what we need to understand in property management, that these are the trends, these are the things which are coming up. We don't have to wait for something to be broken or something to be stopped working, which is not right. So we have to understand for repair and maintenance. If you drive the car now, most of the car that tells you how much oil life is remaining. So it gives you a percentage like 5% oil life is remaining. So that gives you an indication that it is time to change the oil in the car. And sometime earlier, it used to just give you a warning when something been damaged or service is due and when you haven't done it. Now it does the traditional way as well, but at the same time, it gives you the information that now it is time to service your vehicle because your oil life is only 10% remaining. So it inform you before your car break down. um, and this is the system, because the car is computerized, is collecting the data, how many miles you have run, what is your driving style and all that. And you might have seen some of the insurance company, they send you a device to put it in your car so they can analyze the data how your driving is. I give you my own example. Last year, what I paid about my insurance is with the company who charge per mile driving, because I drive very less. So last year they charged me around £250 for the initial payment, and then they charged me per mile. But since they have looked at my driving style, they got all the data, they analyzed how I drive, how safe the driver I am. Now this year they only charge me £150. But normally what happened when you go for go to renew the insurance, they normally increase the premium, but this time they decrease the premium because they got the data about the driver, they got the data about the vehicle as well, how fit the vehicle is, and how fit or how good the driver is for the vehicle. So this is what is happening. Same thing can be done in property management market or property industry as well, looking at the data. Now there is another trend, autonomous vehicles, so self-driving cars. So self-driving cars will be coming into existence very soon. But at the same time, over here we are not talking about the cars which are going to run on the road, but at the same time we are talking about the autonomous vehicles which can run within the warehouse as well to lift the things, and Amazon is already using that. So the lifting things and lifting the items and putting it on a different place, it is all about the data, it is all about the feed, we telling human being, telling them what to do and where to go. So it gives us the opportunity to improve, but some of the contradicting view could be that it is reducing the human workforce, and the companies are trying not to employ many people. But I think that understanding is slightly wrong. It might replace some of the jobs, but at the same time, if we enhance the skills and understanding of the human being, then it can it can communicate with the cobots and the artificial intelligence to improve the understanding of artificial intelligence and the human intelligence as well. So it will be much better. Why? Now, autonomous vehicle can be used for the market like logistics. Now since we have shortage of drivers as well, so we can have autonomous vehicles to deliver the stuff. And you might have seen or might have heard the Amazon is using or going to use drones very soon for the deliveries at your doorstep. And they have this experiment on a pilot run at the moment in some of the cities. So Amazon will be delivering through the drones. The packets will arrive on your doorstep, and this drone will go away. So that these are all the autonomous vehicle, and military is already using those type of vehicles since a long time. Wherever the aircraft cannot reach, they are taking the drones in adverse conditions where the complex projects are. Or we also using, last week on the BBC News, they are using drones to find dogs who are lost in the woodland in the UK. And now they are using thermal cameras to find dogs, because if they use simple cameras, normal cameras, that cannot see through the trees, but the thermal cameras, they can sense the heat of the dog through the trees as well. And if, let's say, one dog got lost in 5 miles radius, there is a woodland within and that has 5 mile radius, and a dog got lost in it, so you might need 10 to 15 people to find a dog, and it might take maybe 1 day or 2 day, or maybe at least a day, or maybe few hours. But with the help of drone, you can find that dog within maybe 15 or 20 minutes, because the drone can fly around very quickly and cover the 5 mile radius very quickly as well. So these are the things to save time, and time is money. We're trying to save the money here. At the same time, we are trying to add value to whatever we are doing. So these type of technologies, now autonomous vehicles can be used in properties, can be used in offices, can be used in our warehouses, and different type of views. Now the other thing is the machine creativity and augmented design. What machine is coming up with their own creative ideas and coming up with a new design for us. the way we are working, the way the design we are having, machine is now calculating, being analytical. They are calculating things and coming up with a new design. And for example, coming up with a new design of a building, and that's what happened. So if artificial intelligence is working with the machine and communicating with the machine, we got all the data available. Machine can come up with the new design that has the ability to be creative. And nowadays we are seeing that the machines has been creative as well, and work with the humans in a creative design process. So machines can suggest what could be the outcome. For example, we use applications like NVivo, we use applications like SPSS for our data analysis, and that suggests should we accept one reality or should we reject it. And that is what machines are doing nowadays. So there is a lot of possibility. We can use those machine for I mean those type of application, or those type of machines for coming up with a new design or coming up with a new thing in the property management, looking at the data and finding out what are the possible opportunities, what people are actually looking for, and we serve the same thing based on the demand of those people. Now, drones, we already talked about drones that can be used in several applications. Now, robotic process automation. Now, that is used to automate the various supply chain process. That could be data entry. Now, collecting when the internet of through the internet of things, when machines communicating with each other, they can feed data into one machine to another machine. And when they feed data from one machine to other machine, that becomes the automated process. So if one machine says rejects an information, so and or say the other machine that has to stop working, that is possible as well. As an example, the car assembly, or any other assembly point, or maybe construction. So when we talk about construction, a machine is working and that machine broke down or something happened while the machine is working. So that machine send the signal to the other machine and ask for the wait, that because your work is not finished yet. And that is where we use the color coding in lean, and we use the lean scorecard and other that type of theories, or that type of thinking. So the machine are capable to do that as well. So we look for the robotic automation process, and these are in demand. But why do we do all these things? Why are we looking into all the machines, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, or all these? Because of the mass personalization. Since in the beginning, when I said the societal need, a societal demand is changing, that is because the mass personalization. So now everybody needs their own iPhone or own phone. Everybody have their own laptop or any other devices. So people need that something personal to them, and that is what is happening. So personalization, where the creating we creating highly personalized digital experience. Now that day is not far when you wake up at midnight and order a car online based on your specs, and that car will arrive on your doorstep within, maybe with the prime delivery next day. So that day is not too far, and we won't be surprised maybe within a couple of year time. um, this is what these are the things companies like Amazon, they are working on. And that is the thing. The prime delivery or same day deliveries are not possible without the automated system, because it is they handle maybe hundreds of thousands of order every day, and it is not possible that human being can handle all those orders. Depends on how many people you are putting for those order. You still need automated process. You still need some some machines to work for you, and that is what is happening now. They have automated system. As soon as you order something, the order goes to the printers, to the machines, and goes to where the actual item is, and somebody go there and pick the item and then put it on the conveyor belt. So all these systems work together, and that is what the reality of the logistic market today. The reality of not just the Amazon, but we talk about DPD or DHL or any other logistic service provider. Their warehouses, their systems are designed in a way that is they are trying to go for fully automation, and they are trying to understand what people want. So if you order for, let's say you want gift wrapped, the Christmas is coming, you want the gift wrap, and you want to send the item directly to the person you want to gift. So that becomes again the mass personal, that is an example of mass personalization. There are other thing in personalization where you order something with your name on, you order something with somebody's name on, or something else. So we are looking at the personal experience, that each customer is unique, and we are serving that customer with the flexibility and with the responsive supply chain. So we are looking for the mass personalization. So we want to capture all the customer. We don't want to lose any market share. And that mass personalization, again, when we talk about buildings, everyone should feel like that is my building, that is my environment, that is where I meant to be. They should be happy working in that building, or they should be happy doing business over there, or live in that type of building. So the mass personalization, looking at the need, understanding the need of the people, and that is what we talked about earlier in the uh, uh, residential property management, that when we are recruiting the tenant, that is what we need to understand. What are their needs? Are they looking for one bedroom? They're looking for two bedroom? Are they looking for a HMO, or they're looking for maybe a house or apartment? So we need to understand, because everybody's need is different. Even though five people in a family, those five people might have will have different need, and they need personalization on everything. So this is what the industry is trying to do, to understand the human, what can be done. Now the other technology is 3D printing. Now you might have heard, through the 3D printing, which is called additive manufacturing, which add layer by layer on something, and we can build homes now with the 3D printing. Now since we can, let's say, we cannot import things from countries like China or India, Pakistan, or Eastern countries, or from African countries. We cannot import things. Then with the 3D printing, we can manufacture the components, we can manufacture the houses, we can manufacture the panels, or whatever we need within our building. We can manufacture that with the 3D printer, and it is possible. Now, 3D printer, we can there are examples where they built houses through the 3D printers, and if not the complete house in one go, they can still build the panels and put it together. And that is what the trend is coming into off-site construction, that they might, or they are using some 3D printing techniques to come up with the off-site construction. Now with the 3D printing, we can go for the complex projects, the complex structures, the ideas we can come up with. So we put it in a computer system, and we can print anything we want to. So almost anything can be printed with the 3D, any shape or any structure. Now, finally, the most important thing we need to understand is the societal change. The society is changing. We are changing, and our workplaces are changing. So, when we are thinking about the property, we need to think about these technologies we just talked about. So, those technologies, those things are important in the property management business. The only thing is, we need to understand how can we fit it, and how it help our clients to fulfill their needs. Doesn't matter what type of property we are talking about. In the residential properties, we are looking for different type of sensors, the heating sensors, we are looking for the lighting sensors, we are looking for the alarm systems, we are looking for the Wi-Fi technology within the buildings to turn on and off the lights and all these. In commercial building, same technology, same type of things are required, but there could be some additional things based on what is the demand for that business, or who, or what is the nature of business being run in that property. So we need to um, think about what is required when we are developing a property, or when we are looking for new investment ideas, when we are looking for, let's say you are looking for the properties for a corporate, and those properties could be, for example, the industrial sheds, or could be properties in retail park. We need to think about all these things, what is required for those property. You can't just take a property and start putting the stuff in it and start doing the business. You might need cameras, you might need the other things, and these could be the value added services you are providing, that it is pre-built. Now what happened, one of my friend, he just renovated his home and did some extension as well. He knew that he needs CCTV cameras. So, but he didn't have the CCTV camera at that time. So what he did, he asked them to put all the wiring around the house, and he can just plug in the cameras or plug in the system later on, and that's what happened. So we need to think about these things when we are looking for a building. Does it have the proper wiring for the camera? Does it have the fiber optic things which we require for internet of things, which we require to capture the data, which we require to keep the data stored, and which we require for maybe the robotic services or cobots as well. So all these things are important. We need to think about the societal change. We also need to think about the future, what is coming up in the future, because buildings life cycle is not just 2 year or 3 year time. It could be hundreds of years for a building, the life cycle of a building. So we need to think ahead when we are talking about the property management. We need to think, how can we improve our process, how can we add value to our property management process, and we can utilize these technologies to improve our process.